Milo. I'm taking care of her for a while and she's the best. She's so sweet. So this video is about why I stopped drinking at 26 and what it taught me. So I'm gonna just get right into it. Number one, drinks are expensive. They're expensive as hell and it's just too much money for me to not enjoy it. You know, I hate the taste of alcohol. Number two, being an aggressive drunk is much realer than you think. Like, if you think you're a fun drunk, perhaps think again, like inquire with your friends. I genuinely like myself better when I am not drinking. I think that I'm more fun. I don't take things as seriously. I'm not as ready to like brawl with people. Three, I don't appreciate fine wines or like fancy spirits or anything. Like the smell of whiskey makes me gag. Red wine, like my neurologist, when I went to my neurologist for migraines, she was like, yeah, the tannins in wine are very bad for people with migraines. Like they generally can't stand it. And it's true. Like I think it's repulsive, honestly. It's like, it's the equivalent of people who think cilantro tastes like soap. That's how I feel about alcohol. It tastes like pure poison, like formaldehyde to me, you know? Number four, I found myself feeling very relieved when I would be out and someone would be like, I'm not drinking. I'd be like, oh, thank God, now I can have an excuse to not drink either. Like, I'm so happy there's one other person who's not gonna drink at all. And it just dawned on me, like, why do I need someone else to give me permission to do what I wanna do, which is not drink. Number five, migraines. If you know me, you know I get migraines. It's just not, this is like the number one reason I don't drink at all. If I could drink and not feel disgustingly sick and throw up for 24 hours after that, I would do it probably. Number six, I read a study. I don't know where it is anymore. I'm not gonna copy and paste it. You could Google it. It's like a known fact, like scientifically proven, alcohol is bad for your health. It is never, like people say, oh, 1 glass of red wine, blah, blah, blah. Like there are polyphenols and other things besides red wine. You could eat the grapes. Alcohol is bad for your brain. It is bad for your health. It's a neurotoxin. And it's just not necessary. Like it's just a social thing. So all of these combined, put together, I was just like, this is a social thing that I don't like to partake in. So the thing that finally made me decide, okay, I'm absolutely going to stop doing this to myself is when I had therapy the day after going out with my friend. We went to like a dance night, like it was like a dance lesson type social event. And I got so like in my head about dancing properly that I was like, I'm gonna have a drink. And I had like 2 sours and had a migraine the next day. So I was in therapy and I was like, hey, I have a migraine. I'm so sorry. Like I wanted to cancel, but I'm gonna just work through it. My therapist goes, why do you think you have a migraine? And I was like, oh, I know it's because I was drinking last night. I had some beer. And she was like, why do you keep drinking if you told me you don't like it? You told me you don't like the taste. You told me that it makes you feel sick. Why do you think you do that? And I was just like, why do I do that? You're right. Why would I do that to myself? Looking back on it, it was definitely a lot of, I don't want to be stigmatized. I want to seem cool. I want to seem like I can hang when I go out. But that's actually not the case. Like, no one actually cares. In fact, a lot of people have been like, wow, that's really good. Like, I hate alcohol as they're holding a drink. But whatever, it's fine. So I officially reset and quit alcohol fully on June 13th, 2024. And this was obviously in the summer, so that was really difficult. I was going out a lot to bars and things like that. But honestly, after the first like 2 months of it, the main summer nights, it was fine. The first few times I was like, oh, I feel like I really want the feeling of like comfort of like holding this drink in my hand. And eventually I was just like, no, I actually love going home and not feeling scared that I'll have a migraine the next day or like feeling really sick. So as of today, it's officially been 151 days that I have gone without alcohol since June 13th. And it's been great, but there are some things that I've noticed that I think I'd like to point them out. Number one, when people become aware that I don't drink or I say like, oh, no thanks, I don't drink, they will always ask why. And then it's like, they feel a little awkward. And then I'm also like, it's not a traumatizing reason. Like I'm not an alcoholic at all, but what if I was? Like, then what? Number two, I've also observed that people just make it a bigger deal than it is. Like a lot of people, when I tell them I don't drink because I am sober, like I don't plan on drinking ever again in my life, they get very self-conscious. They feel bad for offering me a drink when it's a perfectly generous, nice, innocent thing to do for someone when you're out. And they just like kind of feel weird, and I never want to make people feel weird at all. They get a little bit freaked out. And number 3, when I tell people that I don't drink because of my health, they often say like, oh, I drink electrolytes and I'm fine the next day. Or like, have you tried taking aspirin before you go out and stuff like that? And I'm like, first of all, you shouldn't be mixing alcohol with Tylenol and Advil and all those things. And then second of all, I've tried everything, girl. Like, I promise you, I've tried everything possible. It's just not for me. My brain is very intolerant of alcohol. That's all. Another big thing I've noticed is my digestion is so much better because I am not forcing myself to eat anything before bed. I'm not forcing myself to like grab pizza because I've been out drinking all night. Like, I'm ready to go home and just take my makeup off and sleep. Like, that's it. I also find that I have more energy and I can stay out later and I can dance even longer because I'm not like sleepy or dizzy or feeling just sick, you know? Number 5 is that I remember so much more now. Like, I always had like a pretty good memory. Like, I could remember a lot of things, but now I feel like my memory is just even sharper. Like, I am so, like, I observe everything when I'm out. It's honestly really interesting to be around drunk people. Like, I honestly don't mind it. It's really fascinating. And number 6, the last thing I'm gonna say is that I have replaced like the need to hold a red Solo cup with holding a little point and shoot camera I got off of eBay that was like $30. It's this little cute camera. It's just a nice conversation starter, icebreaker. It's super easy to use. It's a great way to capture memories, and it's just really easy to like make friends through it. To have people be like, where did you get that camera? Like, what is it? Can you take a picture of me? Like, so yeah, overall I would say that quitting alcohol has been probably the best decision I've ever made in my life. I'd say I feel much closer to myself and who I am. I feel more authentic in the ways that I show up at different parties and events and functions. And don't get me wrong, like, I have many vices. I do not judge anyone who drinks alcohol. Like I said, if I didn't get migraines from it, which is like my number 1 reason, I'd probably be drinking all the time too. But yeah, that being said, I do think a lot of people are alcoholics. A lot of people are functioning alcoholics, just a little bit. I'm in New York City, like, we're always out. I also want to mention I've been in a long-term relationship for a few years. Like, I met my boyfriend when I was drinking, and we definitely got drinks. And I do think about pursuing romantic relationships as a single woman and not drinking. I feel like that could come across the wrong, like, I don't know. I feel like people are weird about it. I feel like dating someone who wasn't sober, if you were sober, they'd probably feel weird about it. And so I can't really speak to that, but I just hope that people aren't assholes based on like things that you're doing for your health. But yeah, I really do love talking to other people about being sober, cutting out alcohol, or cutting down on alcohol. Like, I think it's a really great thing that, like, you know, like, you don't have to drink alcohol all the time. I promise you, you are interesting enough. Like, if you needed a sign to quit or you needed some motivation to just like explore being sober curious, like, this is it. And I got you. And I'm rooting for you. Bye. Bye, everybody.